Welcome back, MMAOddsBreaker. Today we're talking to Fernando Gonzalez. Get ready to fight Marius Zaromskis. Come up here in Bellator. It's actually the fight's right in your hometown, right? It's right there in Pechanga. Is that right?
Yeah, it's right down the street, so it's awesome, man. I get to sleep in my own bed.
You're not checking into the hotel then the whole time. You're gonna stay home.
Yeah, normally my brother lives outside of town, so I have the room for him, and that's where I normally like if I have to sell tickets, shirts, I have them there.
Okay. Do you have to sell tickets for this one?
Yeah, normally pretty much for every show I
Okay.
try to sell tickets, especially because I have a lot of family and friends in the area.
What's the percentage of your actual pay comes from your ticket sales? Is it like 20%, 50%?
I I believe it was 15. I think it's 10 now.
Okay.
Everything changed a little bit with new management and stuff.
Yeah. No, but how much of that is your total fight purse? Like if you sell, sometimes a guy like you can sell, three, 400 tickets. And that's a lot of money. Is that in comparison to what you're getting paid to fight? Do you make a lot more money sometimes selling tickets than you actually do get the fight?
Before I did with the local shows, but now Bellator takes care of me really well.
Good, good, okay. Well, let's talk about you're at Dan Henderson's training center right now. Obviously, we can hear the bells going off in the background. Talk to me a little bit about getting ready for Marius, and who did you use to be your training partner to help you get ready for this guy?
Before I started getting close to the fight, I normally work with Dan and the guys. As I start to get a little bit closer to the fight, I normally work with one of my main training partners, Isaiah Alvarado, really high level kickboxer. He's one of the guys I keep throwing his name out there, so hopefully I can get him in one of the shows. He's a sick fighter, and my boy Tom Galicchio, he's around 170. He fights. He's a title holder for MFC.
Yeah, I know Galicchio from when he's fighting up there in Canada. That's
Yeah.
you guys are a pretty good camp down there, and it's weird because Henderson got hit up, and then of course there's this big battle with him. Going back to the UFC, he had to take a big pay cut to go back in the UFC. But at his age and his record, it kind of makes sense. But it seems like the guys are underneath his tutelage. You guys seem to be getting better and better and getting more and more money as you're stepping up. Like you said, you went from local shows. Now you're in Bellator, so you're making a little bit more money at Bellator. And then your last couple of fights, you've done really well. You had Carla Masu 2 fights ago and then Caro Parisian in your last fight. And you absolutely destroyed Caro. And it wasn't the old Caro that was, on pills and hurt and had a bunch of excuses. This is a training, in shape, focused Caro Parisian that you beat, and you beat him in the first round. How tough was it battling Caro? Did you feel a lot of heat during that one?
No, it was a fight that I actually wanted for a long time. So it was one of those fights that I played over and over in my head. So I already kind of knew how the fight was going to go. I knew that I had the better striking than him. So eventually he was going to have to try to tie me up. And when he did, that's when I was going to catch him with that uppercut. So it was something that I drilled and went over and over in my head. So I knew I was eventually going to catch him and put him away.
Now, was Caro a guy that you looked up to as you started your fight career, or is he always a guy that you just wanted to battle against?
No, actually, I didn't really know him, but I met him at one of the shows in King of the Cage, one of the shows that I was fighting at. I did look up to him because he had fought like Nick Diaz and some really good opponents, and so I was kind of pretty pumped to meet him when they called. I was actually there at the fight, and they called me over. He was in the front rows. And so the promoter, Terry Troublecop, he called me to meet him. So I went over there and he said, "Hey, this is one of my up-and-comers, Fernando Gonzalez." And I went to shake the man's hand and he just looked at me up and down and just did the little pfft, and then looked straight away. So, as a fighter, man, that boiled my blood. But, I kept my cool and I knew eventually, and like I said before, I was at 185, 205 at the time. So, I look a little thick, so he probably didn't take me serious. And I knew at that moment I was going to drop down to 170 and get to him eventually.
How long did it take you to get down? Because you did fight some fights at 205 and obviously some fights at 185. How long did it take you to really get down to 170 and feel comfortable at the weight class?
I always felt like I did really well at those other weight classes. I actually won 2 titles, one at 205 and one at 85. So I kind of wanted to stay there, but one of my old instructors, the one who actually worked a lot of my stand-up, was Master Bob Cheney. He had told me, look, man, I can want this, but you got to want it more. and you're not going to make any big shows at that heavy of a weight. It just doesn't look good, and you got to be marketable as well. So from there, I started making the drop. I went actually to one of the tryouts out to the UFC tryouts in Vegas. In LA. And I met Daniel White there, and he told me if I could make 170, he would put me on a show. So that gave me all the motivation I needed right there. And I dropped my weight down. I tried out for the show in Vegas at 170. And that's actually where I met Almasu there. We were the first guys in line. And, some things happen, it's pick and choose, kind of like it's not always the best fighter that's going to get picked. It's I'm not really one that talks a lot of crap. So,
well, we all know it's the drama. It's the guys that act a little bit crazy. It's the guys that have a bigger. Yeah. It's all about selling a show. So not necessarily always the best fighter is going to be on there. We've seen that, obviously with the other seasons. That's just how it goes. That's the nature of television. That's how it works. But it ended up working out for you. I mean, you're off in Bellator now. You got a pretty good run going on. Where does this fight with Marius put you within the hierarchy of 170 worldwide?
I think up until now, everybody's kind of I still haven't really proven myself. How 2 fights, they can say, oh, it's a fluke. I caught a Parisian pretty quick, so same thing. They can say it's a fluke. But I know with Zaromskis, he's a very high level striker. He won the Pride or the Dream tournament. So I know if I put him away, it's going to make people start thinking a lot different about me.
What kind of fighter is he? Like, how do you see him coming out? And do you think he's going to approach you any differently than he has anybody else?
I don't think so. I still think I'm underrated to them, that they feel that they're going to do well against me. And I'm pretty sure that's why they took the fight. But, I love to prove people wrong. So that's why I love these kind of matchups right now. I'm getting to fight the best guys in the world, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Good for you. That's Fernando Gonzalez is getting ready to fight on Bellator January 16th out of Pechanga Resort and Casino. Of course, you can see it. If you can't get live in Temecula to watch it, you can see it on Spike TV. Fernando, what's the toughest part of training for you? I mean, obviously you're down at 170, so a lot of people would assume it's the diet, trying to keep your weight down there. But what really is the toughest part of training for you?
No, it really is a diet. I've been doing this for 13 years, so I know how to prepare myself well. And just trying to stay healthy, like I know some of the guys get upset with me. I can't really train with Dan because that dude's got a heavy hand. So if I stay in a training camp with him, I might get caught with that punch. So it really is just trying to stay safe and go with the guys that are more my weight. And, I don't forget how to fight. So I know I just keep training hard and I'm going to do well in every fight.
All right, Fernando, thanks for coming out on MMAOddsBreaker. Appreciate it. Have fun, bud, and we'll definitely talk to you after.
For sure. Thank you.